All right, welcome back to Morning Live. I will remind you of our SMS line, double 299. You can be part of this conversation. And May 28th is a Menstrual Hygiene Day, a very, very important day just put aside. And we'll be talking about all these. And in studio, I'm joined by Abby, who has been here, of course, to talk about the menstrual cups. And today, she's, of course, conversant with what is happening as far as menstrual hygiene is concerned. And Abby, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Now, May 28th, day put aside for menstrual hygiene, a very important part of just a woman's kind of health. And maybe you can tell us just briefly about hygiene, because now, you know, when you talk about hygiene, it means there was a concern.
Yes.
That this day was put aside courtesy of a concern. So what is a concern?
Well, first of all, this year's theme, because every year there's a theme.
Okay.
This year's theme is time for action.
Okay.
And time for action when it comes to matters menstruation, when it comes to giving girls options, when it comes to breaking the silence with regards to menstruation. So this year's celebrations are being held in Kajiado, I believe, a school called Nip Korea. I'm slaughtering that name. I'm butchering it right now.
It's okay.
But it's in
Kajiado?
Yeah, but I feel like the government is really active for them to even have a day where there's actually like national celebrations, and I believe in other counties as well, they are having something to commemorate the day, which means that we're taking positive steps in highlighting these issues.
Interesting. Now, when you talk about the hygiene itself, you know, as I mentioned earlier, there must be a concern before now this day was put aside. And trust me, we've come a long way as Africans. As I can actually talk on your behalf. You, our women, you've actually come a long way to embrace all this thing, to now talk about this thing in public. Like there's so much that has been happening. Now, the taboo, the stereotypes about menstruating, that age is finally here. Talking to your daughter, talking to your child about all these things have changed. Maybe you can add more about this, because now I feel like as much as it's the day put aside, challenges are there.
Yes.
Some people don't have accessibility to these sanitary towels. And also we have a situation whereby people don't talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Steps have definitely been made.
Yeah.
That I have to give credit to. But having said that, there's still people, even here in the city, who are still very not comfortable with talking about it, and not just men, also women. There are also women who menstruate, but they're still not comfortable about talking about it because either culture or religion or whatever the reason that they may be having for it. But we're trying, as the Grace Cup, we're trying to break the silence and just to normalize periods and just to make it just like any other, because it's not a condition, it's not a disease, it's something biological and something beautiful that should be embraced. So just to stop demonizing the period and to just have open conversations. So because when you have an open conversation, now we can talk about the products.
Absolutely.
But if you cannot even talk about the period itself, how are you going to talk about the hygiene aspect of it?
It's true that. Now, looking at accessibility, a very good project was started. In fact, various NGOs have started this thing, and some schools, the keyword is some schools, have access to free sanitary towels, sanitary pads. Some haven't yet kind of benefited from all this. Now, you have a very beautiful idea of Grace Cup, which is, of course, taking over. And how are people embracing this? And maybe, you know, trying to sell this idea to government entities, so people who support the distribution of free sanitary towels in schools or other organizations, embracing the Grace Cup and also just trying to make them believe that indeed this thing works. How has it been for you now?
Well, of course, it was a challenge at first, like a huge challenge. First of all, they're dealing with something that they had never seen before. You know, like you're talking about a cup and people just think, okay, a cup, how? Is it like the cup for tea or, you know? So we're now 2 years running, and I'm very proud to say that at least the First Lady of Kakamega County took a chance. And she bought 1,000 cups for the girls in Kakamega, who will be receiving it for free. So basically the government is buying it for them. So it takes a while, but I believe it's just a matter of understanding what it is.
Okay.
Because I think that people, even me, I'm afraid of things that I don't understand. So when you don't understand something, you fear it. But the moment you get to understand and know how everything works, then your mind opens up about it. Yeah. So I can say that Kenyans are really embracing it. It took time, but we are there's light definitely at the end of that tunnel.
All right. So when you talk about preferences, you know, people, those of course who prefer the towels, those who prefer grass cups, those who, what's the other one?
Washable pads.
Washable pads, the tampons
the
also.
Tampons,
yeah, sure. Now, these are preferences by different women, and I'm told also we have the ones who kind of menstruate heavily, those who may be mild, and those a little bit maybe kidogo tu si sana lakini. So you know these are differences. People are different out here. So how do they need, like, you know, some people have told me they have to walk it around maybe 3 to 4 pads in a day. Now, just to sort out this thing, menstrual cups, the grass cups actually that we have, the tampons, which is the most effective here?
Like you said, it's preference because we are all different. And as the Grace Cup, we're not forcing the cup down anybody's throat. So if you feel like this is not a product for you, then well and good, you know, there are other options. And I believe in 2019, we should be having options because right now in Kenya, I feel like, well, actually when you go to a supermarket, all you have are either pads or tampons. Different brands, yes, but it's still a pad or it's still a tampon. So we're trying to bring in the idea of having reusables. Reusables in the sense of, this is called a cloth pad. So this is reusable. You can use it for up to 1 year. So all you need to do is use it and then wash it when it's soaked, when it's soiled, you wash it, you hang it, and then you reuse it. This here is a cup, which I believe the Grace Cup, which you've seen before. This is one that you fold, you insert, and you can use it for up to 10 years. So basically what the agenda that you're trying to push here is, let's, as much as we all have preferences, let's also try and look for things that are reusable. Because I believe that when you're buying a pad or a tampon every month, whether you're spending 50 shillings, whether you're spending 500 shillings, your vagina is basically paying rent. Because every month you must have that 50 bob, you know. So, and men don't have such a thing. You know, there's no product that you have to buy every single month, you know. So I'm like, if as a woman, if you already know that your period is coming and it will come, for sure it's going to come, then, and a woman menstruates for most of her life. So why should you not have a solution that's permanent? You know, so it's like buying a house. You already know you need a house.
Economic impact also.
Exactly.
If you mention 10 years and you mention 3 days, wow. Now let's talk about comfort and economy. Like, what will you, because at some point, and I understand, you'll get acclimatized to it. So what's all this? Because when I have reusable, is it washable something?
Yeah, the washable pad.
The washable. Now when I can like use the grass cup for 10 years. Goodness, like what's happening? Like options, good options.
Yes, options, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about options, you know, so that a woman doesn't have to feel like. Remember when there was this whole shortage of tampons, and women are like, where do we get a tampon now? There are no tampons, and blah blah blah, and it got me and other people to realize as well that women do not know that there are options out there, because there's some women who are like, I can never use a pad, and tampons are now not available. What else can I use? And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you can use a cup, you can use a washable pad, you know, like some women feel like they're pushed to a corner because they don't understand that there are actually other options out there. And it's also because of how we are raised. You're raised knowing you use a pad or a tampon, that's it. But no one really tells you that, oh, there's something called a cup, and there's also something called a pad, a washable pad. So we're trying to let women know that there are options out there, and you don't have to feel stressed out by using just one thing.
Yes, true that. Now, we will expand more on this, but let's talk about the hygiene itself. You know, we can talk about the products, but now the personal hygiene. You know, this is a very important part whereby you're trying to make sure no leakages, You're trying to make sure the kind of there's some sort of freshness. You know, this is very important. You're working, you need to be comfortable. We'll talk about the emotional part, the moody part later on. That's a biological impact from these things, from the menstrual cycle itself. But look at the hygiene itself. Now, washing it, changing it, the dynamics of all this. Not everyone adheres to it, apparently. It's unfortunate.
True.
Yeah.
But you can also say the same for disposable products. Because you see, hygiene is a very personal thing. So if I am not a hygienic person, doesn't matter what product I use, it will not change how hygienic I am. So with for example, with the reusable products, definitely there's a higher, you need to be more hygienic than someone who's using a disposable, because the disposable is just going to throw it away anyway. So yeah, I do agree that when using a pad or the washable pad or the cup, then definitely you must be held to a certain standard when it comes to hygiene, because it's something that you're going to use and use again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for those people who kind of not take it so seriously, and sometimes they make even their friends or their colleagues uncomfortable. Now, it gets to a point whereby you can't hold it anymore. Sometimes self-esteem goes down and someone tells you, are you okay? Like, tunaweza sikia kitu fulani harufu hivi. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sometimes you can like, how? I'm not even like, self-assessment and all those things. Now, how should this happen? Because so many cases, even cases of leakages, whereby now kind of it's full, and now someone wants to now get, maybe you don't know if you're a heavy one. So it's just complicated. Now, what can you say about this?
Well, when it comes to things like leakage can happen. I mean, it's women, any woman will tell you at some point or the other they have stained their clothes. And it's not because they want to, it's just sometimes it just happens. Maybe you're in a place where you cannot change your pad. Maybe you're traveling, you don't have the time or the opportunity, or whatever reason.
Sure.
A leakage can happen. The reason why even I at this point would still get mortified is because of the stigma that's there when it comes to menstruation. Because if you think about it, at the end of the day, it's blood. But why is this blood so demonized? It's because it's blood that's coming from your vagina. That's the only thing. Because if it was blood that was coming from my nose, no one would look at me twice, But because it's blood that's coming from my vagina, then all of a sudden there's something evil or something wrong or something to be ashamed of, and that should not be the case.
Sure.
And I think most of the time is because of a lot of ignorance, especially you'll be surprised at how much men do not know about periods.
Okay.
Like I was reading the other day that this guy was telling the girlfriend started a period they were driving, and just out of nowhere she started a period. Then she was like, "Oh, could we please stop by a gas station for me to get a pad because my period has started." Okay. And then the guy unashamedly said, "Could you just hold it?"
To be continued.
Okay.
To be continued. Okay. Actually, that's a very good story. Okay. So just catch this story after a short break, because now it seems like as the script was going, this man didn't actually agree on it. Hey, anyway, that's a shame. Take a short break. We're coming back in a few with all this conversation. Now, the nitty-gritties of the Menstrual Hygiene Day. Stay tuned to Morning Live. Welcome back to Morning Live. The break was kind of very interesting conversation going on right here in studio. Now, Abby was telling us a story, and this man now, what happened?
And then the man asked the lady, "Could you just hold the period in until we get home?" Yeah, he thought like a period was like pee, like you can just hold it and then you can just go release. He didn't understand that when it comes, it comes.
Okay, what of just, I'm not trying to judge anyone, like you have the responsibility of knowing your dates. I understand they're kind of very inconsistent. They cannot come like if it's on the 5th, they might come earlier or even later on. Yeah. So I know the hormonal, everything, there's so many things that should determine your days. But is it wise when you get ready between these days, you understand, indeed, these are my days, so I'm very ready, so that at least, for example, you're at a bus, you're going somewhere in Shags, and then it happens to you. You don't have any other option, and the bus driver cannot stop, they're chasing time. What will you do?
So back to your question about the dates. A woman's cycle can be affected by very many things. Even change of climate can change your dates, can push your dates around. Women who use contraceptives, pills and things like that, that could push things around. So there are women like me, for example, who are very regular, so I already know my dates. But having said that, sometimes it can get in a day earlier, sometimes a few days late, because simple things, even like diet, can change everything. So sometimes when a woman is caught off guard, it's not because they don't know their dates, but because things just happen with the hormones that change things around. But if it happens when you're in a bus or wherever, there's always, the good thing is I cannot say always, there will be a person, but most of the time you will find someone who has it. And if you have a considerate driver, it's a matter of telling him. But now the problem is most women will not approach a man, say a driver, and say, hey, I have a period, you need to stop, I need to buy a pad. Very few women will have the courage to say it. So most of them will just sit and marinate in the blood, which is a shame because of the shame that they feel during that time.
Which should be tackled. For men out here, we should talk about these things. These are easy things. They happen to our women. So I don't know why people are so much taboo to talk about all these things. Now, we have the menstrual cups here. Of course, the grace cups, you have them here. We have the washable pads and the normal disposable. Now, of course, you have a demo here. Maybe you could just, we could start with the cups, maybe. You know, not so many people are aware how these things actually happen. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So using the cup is very easy, actually. So this is called the grease cup. So what happens is it's folded. This is one way of folding it. And then a woman will squat or will put one leg up, and then it will be inserted inside the vagina. So the same way that a tampon would be inserted, and then it opens up. So the moment it's open like this, it collects the period. So as opposed to a pad or a tampon that's absorbing a period, a pad is a cup is simply collecting the period.
So there are no leakages here?
No, there are no leakages. If you look closely, maybe on this cup, it will be more clear, but there are 4 holes. You can see the holes around it, right? So the holes, they create a vacuum. So think of a kitchen pump. When you put the kitchen pump on the floor, it sticks, right? So that's the kind of vacuum that's created by the cup. So the holes, they create the vacuum. So that's the reason why air won't go in. And usually air is what causes the bad smell when you're having a period. Most people think that a period has a smell, but a period actually doesn't. It's because when you're wearing a pad, you're staying with it for about 4 or 5 hours. The blood is exposed to air, so it creates the bad smell.
How will you know it's full?
Yes. So they're different they're different sizes, as you can see. This is it's called the Grace Cup Gold. So this is 27 ml, and this is the Grace Cup Light. So that's 15 ml. But whether or not, it doesn't matter which cup you're using. The first time when you use the cup, you stay with it for 4 hours. See how much you filled it. Then the next time you stay with it for 8 hours. Then the next time you can go up to 12. So this is a 12-hour. You can stay with it for 12 hours straight. Yes. And then when it comes to time, when it's the time for you to take it out, you don't pull it like the way you would do a tampon. You actually pinch the base, because remember the vacuum was created, so you need to break the vacuum. And for you to break it, you just pinch the base at the bottom, and then you just slide it out.
Wow. And the physical activity, can it affect it?
No, you actually do everything that you need to do with a cup. So whether it's your gym, I gym with my cup, running, sleeping, swimming, literally anything. So the cup was created so that your day should not change just because you have a period. You can do anything.
Yes. Amazing. Maybe Can you just remind us the cost of this Grace Cup?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So this, the Grace Cup Light is 2,000 shillings.
Okay.
And the Grace Cup Gold is 3,000 shillings.
Okay.
Either cup will last you 10 years, and you only need the one.
Okay.
You don't need to buy two.
How can they get these cups?
Yes, so we have 2 shops. We have one in town,
Okay.
opposite opposite Best Lady on Ronald Street,
sure.
RNG Plaza. And then we have another one just behind Valley Arcade. It's called Mini Mall, a shop called the Natural Beauty Bar.
Yeah.
They also sell it.
I'm sure guys will forget about the direction, but now social media, how can they reach you?
Yes. So on social media, we're everywhere. We're Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It's called the Grace Cup. Yeah, so anywhere on social media.
Okay.
We also have our website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, back to the washable one.
Yes. So this washable one, it's for any woman who's used the pad. This should be pretty easy to use because then it's just put inside the underwear the same way that you do a disposable one. Yeah. And then it has this 2 buttons here. So the thing is, it's you put it inside the underwear and then you click it. You click it like that for it to close. Okay. You close it and then it looks like this.
Okay,
yeah.
interesting.
So the same way that you would wear the disposable one is the same way that you wear this. The only difference now is that with this one, you can stay with it, and then when you're done, you just open it. Usually they come with bags that you can put inside, and then when you go home, you can simply just wash it and then air dry it and use it again. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I have an SMS here from someone, and she's called Abby, like you. Apparently. Yeah, Abby like you. Now,
I've never met another Abby.
Abby asks, what should I do when I have different dates? Of course, we've talked about it, like preparedness. I think it's all about preparedness. What should I do when I have different dates? Because, for example, 25th, 24th, but it comes on 26th, but I'm used to 23rd. Now, that's strange. Yeah, sure.
Yes, like I said, the dates can vary depending on different things. So what I normally advise women, especially who are very irregular, so you never know when it's coming. When you're having something like the Grace Cup, the cup usually comes in a small bag. I didn't carry it, but it usually comes in a small bag. So it's something very discreet, and like you see, something very light.
Sure.
So if you know that you're not sure of your dates, having the cup in handy is a good idea.
Sure.
So you just have it anywhere, just in case you start your period abruptly.
Okay. Someone else, how does it affect me? Does it react, the menstrual cups, I think, the Grace Cup, does it react in any way or something?
No,
reaction?
Because the cup is made, most people think it's made from plastic, but it's actually made from medical grade silicone.
Oh, okay.
So medical grade silicone, sorry?
Disposable?
No. This is reusable.
Biodegradable?
Biodegradable.
Yeah.
No, the answer is no. It's not biodegradable. But then if you look at the current options that we have in the market, this cup you're going to use for 10 years.
Wow.
The disposable pad, this pad, you're going to use it, it's a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Use it once, you throw it away.
Sure.
So as much as, and this is also not biodegradable, it takes about 500 years for this to decompose. Wow. So if you're looking at these 2 options, then the cup wins hands down.
It's true.
Because this is a one-time use.
I'm looking at the
economy.
The economic angle. It's big time. Now, age. Anyone, adolescents, anyone, teenagers can just use the cup?
Yes.
Okay.
From the moment you start your period, whether it's age 10, age 13, age 18, whatever time you start your period, you can use the cup.
Okay.
And now I know the question that is coming is, what about virgins?
Yes.
So virginity, most people think that virginity is here. The opening, what you can see physically is called the vulva. We usually just call it vagina, but vagina is actually what's inside here. So virginity is not at the vulva. Because otherwise, if that's the case, then most women would have lost their virginity at a very young age. Virginity is actually here. That's where the hymen, where the cervix, this is where the cervix is. That's where everything is. So when you're inserting the cup does not need to go so high because, like I said, it's not absorbing a period, it's collecting it. So it does not interfere with a woman's virginity. Right now we have girls as young as 13 in Kibera already using the cup. We have girls who are virgins.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as a finalizing this conversation, I like the talk today. It's been so candid, open, no sugarcoating. But look at our society. You know, sometimes change can come with impact. Change is difficult. Our young girls, our sisters, of course, our mothers used to survive. By the way, it used to be so difficult for them, but they survived. Now, look at the generation embracing change, The cups are here. Look at the economic angle. Now, what's your opinion on embracing change and now sticking with it?
Change is difficult for most people, even for me. Change is difficult.
Okay.
It's just that I think change starts with the mind.
Okay.
Change with anything will have to start in the mind.
Sure.
You'll have to be very uncomfortable with your current position and decide I need to upgrade or I need to change, and I need to change for the better.
Yeah.
So it's a very personal thing. Even with the cup, before when I started the business, I used to think that I need to convince you to buy the cup, until I realized no, you need to convince yourself that you need the cup. All I can do is I can give you all the advantages and why you should use it, but at the end of the day I can never force you, or I can never convince your mind, because you're the one. That's your job now. It's your job to convince your mind.
Someone still wants to get your information, like where they can get you, social media. I think just repeat.
Oh, at the Grace Cup.
Okay.
The GRACE, just Grace, the normal name. And Cup is CUP, Kikombe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we have, of course, our crew here in studio. We have Lynette. Lynette, you're here, I think. Can you use Lynette? Lynette, maybe you can tell us. Can you use it? Maybe. Okay.
Like, no, I don't want to be on camera.
Okay, Brenda, maybe what can you tell us about it? Brenda, can you use it? Brenda will use it. Okay. Thank you very much, Brenda and Lynette. Abby, thank you so much for coming. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
All right.